everyone, we are back with another round of Turing Mock Interview series. I'm Jose, a tech lead at Turing, and today I will be interviewing Abdul Rashid for the role of a mid-level to experienced Python developer. And before you put in the comment section below that the question are for juniors or seniors or whatever, those questions were selected for YouTube purpose, okay? And to get started this, I would like to welcome Abdul Rashid. How are you doing and how is your day doing so far?
Yeah, hi, Jose. I'm fine, and my day has been cool.
Nice. And could you please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your background, your experience? Then I'll take from there and start the questions.
Yeah, thank you. So, I'm Abdul Rashid, a software engineer with 4 years experience. So I started my tech journey as a mobile front-end developer in a startup firm where I develop native Android apps. So, and using Kotlin, after which I moved into using a Flutter, that is a hybrid app that can work on both Android and iOS, and to generalize it like web framework. Then I picked interest in machine learning, and then I had to like start studying Python, of which there after I finished studying Python, I was able to major in machine learning projects and executed a couple of them, and including data science projects.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. And could you please tell me a little bit more about some interesting Python project that you have been working on?
Okay, yeah, I've executed a couple of them, but I think one of them, which was kind of challenging as at then, was a study project of which we use gaze estimation to control the mouse. So it was difficult then because the documentation available as at then was kind of limited, and then had to like implement most of them from things that I know and some concepts that I studied as a beginner as at then. So yeah.
All right. And the first question that I have for you today is how Python is interpreted.
Okay, I think there is difference of opinion as regards if Python is interpreted or if it's compiled, first of all. So basically, I think Python stands in between, whereby the Python code, that is a .py file, is being compiled to a bytecode file that is stored as .pyc file. So that bytecode file is then being interpreted to the machine language, that is machine code. So yeah, that's how Python is being sent down to the machine code.
Nice. All right. And so why finalized is used?
Okay, finalize is used for that is to clean up on managed resources. So before like garbage collections happens. So in most instances, it's being used like in all instances to say it's being used in the try and catch. After the try and catch, then if there are still some unmanaged resources, then it's cleaned up before garbage collection.
Nice. Okay, and my next question is related to iterators in Python. Okay, what are iterators?
Okay. Yeah, iterators are objects that are self-aware of their states. So of which it's been should I say it's been initialized. That is the using the iter method. So of which if you need to like get the next object or item from the iterator, use the .next function method. So when it gets to the end of the iteration, it raises an exception saying that, oh, you have passed what I was holding to say, and then it raises a stop iteration exception.
Okay, you said when we hit the last one, okay,
Yeah.
and then we hit next again, it will
Yes.
throw exception.
Stop
Is that correct?
iteration exception.
Okay, great, great, great. All right. So as we talk about iterators, what do you understand about generators in Python?
Okay, as compared to iterators, generators are functions that kind of return an iterable collection of items. So basically, like the implementation is kind of a simplification of the implementation of iterators, because at the end of it, it still returns an iterable collection of items. So which you can still use the next to like get the element, that is the next element from it. But another, should I say, difference between the iterator and the generator, the fact that you use yield to return the next item, as compared to iterator, where you use return to return the next item.
Okay, and can we use two generators at the same time? For example, if I have one generator function, okay, that will return an iterator, right? And then I have yield one, yield two, and then when I have the yield three, rather than I return three, I return another generator function. Is that possible?
Yeah, basically, what it does is it just knows the state at which it is, so it returns what you want it to return. So that is using the yield. So when it gets to that point, it returns like it knows like where it stopped and then continue from there.
Okay, one more follow-up question. What's the difference between return and yield in a generator function?
Okay, return states that that's like the end of the that's the end of the last, like the end of the item that needs to be returned, as compared to the yield, where it's stating like, okay, there could be possibly an extra, should I say, item to be returned.
Cool. And then when you talk about iterators, okay, you said when you hit the last one, it will throws out exception, right?
Yeah.
But when you are inside the generator function, then you have three yields, one, two, three yields. And then
Yeah.
you create your variable using that function, okay, that generator function. And then you call next, then you have the first value, right? And then you
Yeah.
have next again, you have the second value. Then you have next again, the last one, you have the third value. What
Yeah.
happened when you call next for the fourth time?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, generator is just like a simplification of the implementation of iterator. So it has the same stop iteration exception. So of which when you hit the next after it has finished returning like the last item there, it still returns the stop iteration exception.
Great. All right. So move on. Okay, next question. Why would we use, okay, or what would you use meta classes in Python?
Okay, meta classes, basically it's a way to like transform your code. So kind of a way like, okay, I think I will first bring up the definition of like a meta class, like what a meta class is to say. Kind of a blueprint to create a like that creates a class,
Mm-hmm.
basically in Python, like the blueprint that hosts a class that enable you to create a class as a developer. So basically, we could use like meta classes to like, should I say, generalize a concept. Like if I'm implementing like a framework or an API to say, I could use it to like enforce a concept like, okay, the name of a, should I say, a method you're creating using my class should actually be like an uppercase or a lowercase, or it should have an underscore. So you, in most instances, it's being used at the time of instantiating a class.
Okay, great. Then I have a follow-up question. Okay, so can we use decorators in Python?
No much idea.
Okay, that's okay. No worries. I'll let this question for our audience. Okay, so please let me know in the comment section below if we could use decorators in classes and functions in Python. Okay, and no worry about this, Abdul Rashid, because during the interview, we don't expect you to know all the candidates know everything. Okay, and let's move on. So what is monkey patching in Python?
Okay, monkey patching to say is a way to like kind of modify a class or should I say module in Python. So it's generally used like when you want to like modify a function in that is in Python. Yeah.
Okay, and how can we use that in Python?
Okay, it's more like the simplest explanation, should I say example I can give rather, would be like if I want to in like during runtime, basically it's actually applied during runtime. So if I want to like change the method, how I want a method to run at a particular stage when the program is running, so I can kind of immediately like override the previous implementation of the function and use another implementation of the function.
Got you. All right, move on. What's the difference, okay, between deep and shallow copy in Python?
Okay, I think like the name implies, shallow copy is kind of creating a new object from the original. But why it's shallow is because it doesn't like create the object, the nested objects. It just stores the references of the nested objects, as compared to deep copy, where you have it create the objects of the original and also create the object of the nested objects of the original item to see.
Okay, great. All right, so next question is regarding polymorphism. Okay, how would you define polymorphism in Python?
Okay, polymorphism, I think like the concept of polymorphism is kind of different from like what is generally applicable with like, let's say, general OP programming to say. So in Python, polymorphism like is the ability of something to exist in different forms. So it could be implemented in several ways. Like let me use like Python itself, the methods are kind of polymorphic in nature, where you could pass in several different type of objects or item, and it still be able to like return what it needs to return. So, but like basically the signature of polymorphism, like of functions in like the OOP, the signatures is what differentiates functions, even if they have the same names. But like in Python, it still has the same name. But since it's a dynamic language, Python as it is, it's a dynamic language. It's polymorphic in nature for its functions. Also, it can also be applied in, let's say, when we have inheritance, when a class inherits from another class, then you can have the same name. So if you want to reference the parent class method that has the same name, you could use, can kind of use super and access that parent class method that has the same name with the child class.
Okay, got you. And then, okay, you said Python is a dynamic language. It's like, let's say, polymorphism built in any function, right? And how, so let's suppose you have one function, okay, to sum something, sum a number. And then you pass one argument. And then you call this function again, passing two arguments, and then call this function again, passing three arguments. How can you get this argument inside that function?
Okay, basically, like I say, it's the concept is really different as compared to like the general OP approach of polymorphism. In Python, it's not applicable that way. Like basically, should I say, is in the data type, it's kind of polymorphic. That is the functions now are polymorphic as regards the data type, but the numbers of parameters will still remain the same. That is the arguments.
Okay, the number, you're saying that the numbers of parameters are not, I'll say, it's fixed, right? If you create the function, pass one, you can only call that function with one parameter. Is that correct? Okay, move on. What's the difference between X range and range, and how can we use them?
Okay, yeah, S range and range seem they are kind of the same because at the long run you have like a sequence of items you're working with, but like as S range is more as a generator, so which returns like it's self-aware of its state, so you can actually get the next item, the next item, the next item. So as compared to range that returns a sequence like a list of items. So yes, so that's yeah.
Got you. All right. And before I move to my next question, okay, I would like to call upon our senior developers out there that are willing to work remote for companies in US. Okay, if you are a Python developer, you can head up on turing.com. I'll put the link into the description section below. Okay, don't worry about this. You can check that. And then you can create your account there and apply for Python position that we are available. Okay, if you have 3 years of experience and you are confident with your tech stack, head on turing.com/jobs and apply for the job. Once you apply for the job, once you create your account, you will have to pass in the vetting process. And once you clear the vetting process, you are good to go and work 100% remotely for US companies. Okay. And if you are enjoying this series, if you are enjoying this video, please don't forget to like this video, okay, and comment down below what are you thinking about this video, and subscribe to our channel. It's a red button below. It's free, it's easy, and it is fast, okay. And please do it right now, otherwise you will forget that, okay. And coming back to you, Abdul Rashid, so my next question is, what is the purpose, okay, of Python non-local statement?
Okay, Python non-local statement is a way of like assigning variable to like let's say the outer scope statement that are not global. Generally we use it like when we have like nested functions to say, so where you use the keyword to like indicate that this variable should not be available to the upper function to say.
Great. All right. And move on. How do developers use with in Python? What's with and how to use that?
Okay. With is should I say it's used for use with to say it's used with context manager. So kind of a way of like handling exception. In most instances, we use it like, let's say when we are carrying input and output operation, like reading from a file. So it helps with managing, like even helps with handling what it needs to do, what the try and catch block needs to do. So so when it's done, it helps, like let's say in the read of file, now it immediately executes the close function for a file to close it. So you don't need to like close the file yourself. The with helps with that.
Okay, great. And I have just one more question for you, I promise. So how does Python approach multi-threading?
Okay. Okay, Python itself wasn't built for multi-threading, like basically, but it has like it has a module for multi-threading though, but how it operates is this: it uses the global interpreter lock to kind of should I say execute our code like sequentially. It still maintains the thread at which they are assigned to, but it executes the code sequentially, but very fast, that it will not be very visible to someone who is not observing. It's like it's not even visible to say. It operates like executes the first one in the first thread and then executes the next in the second thread, but it does it very fast that it's not like visible to know.
Okay, and then I have a follow-up question. Is it a good idea to use multi-thread to speed that Python code?
Okay. Yeah, because like multi-threading um, kind of slows down the execution process. So basically, I won't say it's a good idea if it's not needed, because like it's best you use let's say multi-processing if you are working on like should I say CPU intensive task. But if you are doing like an input output operation, you can still use multi-threading.
Okay, great. And thank you, Abdul Hashid. It was really nice to speak with you today. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. And to everybody else, thank you for tuning in this interview series. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And we will be back very soon with many other episodes of mock interview series covering various different tech stacks and language. And if you are looking for some specific mock interview, please drop your suggestion in the comment section below. Okay, don't forget to give us the big fat thumbs up for this video right now, otherwise you might forget that. Okay, and if you are not subscribed to our channel, please click in the red button below. Easy, fast, and free. Okay, till then, I hope you guys stay safe, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care.